What's going on, everybody? So, I was noticing just lots of really weird radios on Amazon. So I'm like in some non-account browser, so it's not like, you know, necessarily knows who I am. And the results are somewhat different, but who in the hell would spend $62 on this radio here? I don't understand. So I typed in UHF VHF radio. This is what I find when I search without being on the app. Who pays $129 for that? The Cobra. I mean, there's like some really weird crap on here. Normally I see like completely different stuff. $38 for UV5R. Claims it puts out 8 watts. $69 for this piece of junk. I've had one of these before. They feel really cheap. And I could see maybe buying one of these Anytones, you know, for the car, truck. But definitely not one of these B-Tech things. It's like, seriously, this is one of the worst radios I've reviewed. The TalkPod. Really bad radio. Cheap, plasticky crap. So the search criteria is quite different. So basically what happens is Amazon is using, you know, algorithms to determine, you know, what to show you. But I bet you. Oh, okay, I didn't type radio. That's why. Okay. So now we should add like the usual $62 Bofang. $69 UB82. I mean, that's just like, you gotta be nuts. Go buy a Yaesu. I mean, the Yaesu is like $78 for their cheapest HT. And it is better. Trust me, it's better. Definitely better. And then you get this Samcom crap. Like, $339 for GMRS radios? Why? Well, you'd be better off buying these. We have these. The kids have these. They're actually a little bit too nice for kids. But this is nuts. That's just plasticky feeling piece of junk. But what I was talking about, the weird radios that are coming out. I'm talking about this crap. The weird radios of all the, like, there's got to be some connection between Bofang and Quansheng. And so here's the stretched out UV5R. Let me see if I can find the other one. Apparently not. Hold on. So, this radio, by the way, says triband. And I would almost venture to bet that this is going to be locked. But I've seen this one. And it's not sold by the regular seller. It's LYU Lamb Collections. I would probably avoid this radio. Just because it doesn't come with the extra antenna, it's probably locked. It's just another variant of a UV17. So we have these other weird radios coming out. To me, they're weird. The UV5RXs. I mean, they just like have a million versions of different radios. The other one, let's see if it's on here. They call it like an RM, a UV5RM or something. And who in the hell would buy $154 GMRS IP67 That's not submersible. Submersible in what? Dust? Who the hell would buy that thing? It's not even accepted. Here's a new radio I seen come out. I'd review it if they wanted to send it to me. I'm not going to buy it. They're not going to send it to me. I'm just a nobody. But anyway, it's an interesting radio. To me, I think it's a little bit more promising than the other one. We know the other one is dirty as hell. And, you know, this, like, quest for high-power HTs, it's a waste of time. Okay? You're not going to tell the difference between 3 watts and 8 watts. It's just not going to happen. What you will tell the difference between is where that radio makes that 3 watts or 8 watts. If the radio is sending out spurs all over the band, and more of the energy is focused on other frequencies other than where you're supposed to be transmitting, that's when you're going to start to see problems. And I've seen that before. Years ago, I bought the BFH, or the UV5R, you know, 8-watt radio when it first came out. And it couldn't key up the local repeater that the same UV5RA could key up with 3 watts. And we put it on a bird meter, and we saw it was putting out 8 watts, but it wasn't putting out 8 watts where it was supposed to. So it was having trouble getting into the repeater. And it was not off frequency, but it wasn't putting out hardly any power where it was supposed to. And that was when they first came out. So anyway, this is an interesting radio. If any of you guys have tried it yet, let me know what you think. I'm sure it's probably better than the Talk Pod, but I think it's too much money for a radio. Yeah, here's this other one, the UV5RX3. Okay, well, we've seen that before. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Maybe your typical $18, you know, UV5R. And all of these, from what I've seen, can be triband anyways. They're the same damn radio. The new UV5Rs are all, you just program them as a UV5RX. Where does it go? Where did it go? You just program them as this Ray Dottity UV5RX3, and they will work on 220. Thing is, who cares? There's nobody on 220. Hell, there's nobody on 2-meter simplex for the most part. And there's definitely nobody on 440 simplex. So, you get 220. There's some repeaters here and there because people like to do that. And more, I think that they're up because people use them for their own private purposes. Anyway, who needs 220? I mean, do you really need 220? You don't. It's a waste of a band. It was implemented back in the 60s and 70s, or 80s or whatever, when ham radio was actually a thing. And they didn't have enough room on the repeaters. Now we got dead repeaters all over the place. I mean, there's 2-meter repeaters, 440 repeaters, 900 megahertz repeaters. Geez, it just goes on, and they're just all not being used. I mean, you have your metropolitan areas that have lots of activity, but, even in those areas, there's lots of repeaters that aren't being used. You go down in Phoenix, and there's probably 20 different repeaters, and only 2 or 3 of them are getting used. And they're not getting used all the time. And the ones that are getting used all the time are the ones that are linked up to like 5 different states, like the wind system. So, this is a GT5R, but to me, it just looks like the same old, same old. So, I don't see any reason why I would buy that. The Marine radio? What is this one? I mean, you would buy this B-Tech for $69? That's retarded. Who do they think they're kidding? The TYT is a good radio. I think it's a little bit expensive. I really don't think it should be any more than the UV5R, but it's better quality. I just think all these radios are really, the quality isn't real great on a lot of them. And in the end of the day, this is the radio to buy. The UV-K5. That's not a K5. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. It's just another goofy name. And you can buy that radio for $27, sometimes less when it's on sale. So here's these retarded radios. What in the hell? What in the actual hell is going on here? You've taken the new goofy-ass Bofang and the ugliest feature of the UV-K5, and you've implemented it on here. This thing's disgusting looking. Why? Why would you buy this thing? This is absolutely retarded. So now you've got this ugly monster of a radio with a display that you can't read outside in the daylight, with the benefits of the ugly speaker. And I bet you it sounds just as bad. Speaking of stupid, here's the Raydodity GC5. Now, I will say this. This is a dirty, nasty piece of crap radio, and I reviewed it, and I wrote a bad review about it on Amazon, and Raydodity reached out to me, and they refunded my money, but then they wanted to purchase a 5-star review. These assholes asked me to change my review to 5 stars. Lady on there, Nora, contacted me over and over and over. She's still sending me stupid messages. Could you please update your review to 5 stars? No, the radio's terrible. It's horrible. It's not even legal to use. It's got so many spurs, it's not funny. And they've got a proprietary battery for their radio, and they've deleted the flashlight. And they've deleted the USB charging unless you buy their proprietary larger battery. And the radio is locked. So what's the point of locking this radio when it's illegal to use anyways because it's got so many spurs? This is not legal for ham radio to transmit on because it is that dirty. But anyway, Raydodity sent me a message and asked me to change my review. First they asked me, could you update the review? I updated the review. I said 5-star customer service. These guys gave me my money back months and months after the purchase of the radio. I bought this on sale for like $17 during Black Friday. I already knew what it was about when I got it, but I just wanted to review it. And it was indeed quite bad. And it's got some interesting features, like extra buttons that you wouldn't have on the UV-17, but it's a UV-17 and it's locked. So, at any rate, I updated my review. I said 5-star customer service, 1-star radio. They still wanted me to change my review. So anyway, they are a decent company, but they're paying for reviews. So just keep that in mind when you look at Raydodity products and you look at the reviews, that I can guarantee you anytime somebody writes a bad review, they're going to reach out to that person. They will try and make them happy, but they will also try and purchase that 5-star review. So, what in the hell is this thing? Now, I've seen these radios here, the GMRS and the ham radios. These are actually look like fairly decent radios, but again, you're kind of on the UV5R format in a more rugged container, and you'll have a proprietary K-plug. You won't be able to use a K-plug to program it. You need to buy the other plug. Midland GMRS radio, 15 watts. I think this radio here is an interesting radio. I'd love to review one of these, but I'm not going to buy one. And I've contacted all these companies before to see if they'd send me products to review. You know, my name is not HWB, so they're not going to send me anything free, and I'm not going to give them a nice review if it's bad. And, you know, so that guy is terrible. I know some of you guys watch his channel, but he'll tell you every single radio is good when he knows it's not good, I get it. We all want to make a living. And it's nice to get free stuff. It's nice to get free stuff and make a living getting free stuff and reviewing it. But you got to, at the end of the day, live with yourself and realize that you're full of shit. That you're lying to people on YouTube. You're lying to people and getting them to buy garbage. I don't want you guys to buy junk. Okay? I don't want to buy junk. I don't want you to buy junk. I don't want free junk. I don't want to say that it's good junk just because it's free junk. Again, speaking of junk, here is a version of the TalkPod, which is junk. It's the worst radio I've seen. The battery fits loosely. It's very plastic. It's very thin. It's made out of poor quality materials, and it gets hot. Do not buy a TalkPod. Holy hell, Amazon is nuts. $189 for this thing. I would think that this radio is about maybe $100, $120 from DX Engineering or HRO. But anyway, here is a Ray.Oddity radio here. These are kind of cool, but I think that it costs a little too much. And a question, how clean are any of those radios too? How clean are any of these radios for that matter? I don't see people testing these TYTs, the mobiles and stuff. I'm kind of curious. I'd love to see them tested. There is your H6. You don't see this radio a whole lot. Claims to be 10 watts. And yeah. So UV390, I have the version of the 380 with the GPS. It's usually what this is. That's a pretty good deal, but it's coming from directly from the seller, so I would avoid it. Boy, I don't really care about these TV antennas. I don't even watch TV. Here's a TYT, Retivus. These are all kind of interesting. GPS, NOAA weather, Canadian Marine, blah, blah, blah. I don't know why I'm seeing these. Any Secu UVK5, 200 channel. I don't think these things are 200 channel. And then all these people that rebadge Baofangs, Merkit. What is this? A Radtel UV9R waterproof radio. A million of these different UHF, VHF watt meters. I'm sorry, but this is a little bit too much money for a Ching Chong watt meter. No thanks. So, here's another interesting radio that they probably want way too much money for. Yeah, so anyway, there really isn't much in the way of radios lately that really seems interesting. I mean, just get yourself a UVK5. Play around with the firmware if you want to, or just use it like it is. I mean, it's a great radio. So we're on page 6 here. So, like, usually when you get to, like, page 4 or 5 or 6 on Amazon, you're pretty much at the end of whatever. You're just going to keep seeing, like, weird crap. So, here's another radio I would not buy or recommend at the price point. The Ray.Oddity. It's just a copy of one of the other Anytones. Anytone, TYT, probably all made in the same place. Probably making 10 different names under the same roof. And the Radtel, I don't know about this radio. I think it could be good. The last Radtel that I reviewed, I liked it, but the scanning function of it was goofy. And so therefore it was no good. I got rid of it, sold it. But they make okay radios. They're not as well known. And some of the Radtel and K-Sun radios are the same. So I don't know who makes what. But really, I think if you get the unlocked UV17 or the the UVK5, I think like for handhelds, I mean that's the gold standard. I think. This is a different looking TP8 Pro. I've not seen this one before. The screen doesn't look correct for TP8. And they've got their stupid logo across here. Let's see here. Our internet is not functioning properly. Okay, so there's something different about the screen on this. So if this particular radio isn't locked to the ham bands, this could be a good radio. I had a TP8 Plus. I don't know if this is a good radio or not, but it was a nice radio that had the dual display. So you didn't have to look at both lines. You could look at so VFO A, your frequency and your alpha tag at the same time, which I thought was really cool. I'm sure this probably does that. But I haven't seen this one before. Let's see what else we got. These have been out for a long time. These meters here, I think these are fairly reasonable. These Workman. It doesn't have a digital display, but what good is a digital display on a watt meter if it's not accurate anyway? These seem to be quite popular. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot of weird crap out there. Let's go here and search. We'll just search BAOFENG. 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 I don't know where they come up with these names for radios, but everybody knows their name now. Even if they can't agree to say it the same. We have lots of them. So this is the M5R, and it's $19 with a coupon, and it says it has the copy function. So this might be the latest, greatest of the UV5R series. I don't know. But I think if I was going to buy a UV5R, I'd probably buy this one just because it has a $2 coupon. It looks pretty much the same. I don't see the extra button. So I think you just hold down the band button, and then it'll scan UHF or VHF, and you can clone nearby frequency, which is actually a really nice function. I've used it a few times on some GMRS stuff. This radio I have not reviewed. I haven't checked it out. It kind of looks okay, but I just don't want to review any more dirty Baofengs. They just all seem to be kind of dirty on their output. This one here has the new updated USB, which makes it not waterproof, but that's a waterproof radio. Probably kind of a good deal. They're made really decent. The only thing I kind of don't like about those is the VFO knob. Here's another one of these. Here's an ugly. This one here, they don't show the extra antenna, so this is probably locked. You'll buy this and go want to use it on GMRS or something else, you'll be disappointed. We have a green version of this one. So now we have the GMRS ones. I'm not sure if you can even find the radio that I like anymore. I haven't seen it in a while. It wasn't sold by Abri, but it has an Abri triband antenna. And that was the only one I've seen that is for sure unlocked. And it's for sure triband. Like, you don't have to fiddle around with it. I'm sure if you probably searched up like UV17 Pro or something, that it would come up. It is right here. So when you find this one here, you will know because it shows the two antennas. And the bigger antenna is longer than an Nagoya that everybody uses. And it's labeled Abri, and it has the 220 marking on it. This radio is definitely unlocked unless they've changed something that I don't know about. So this would be my go-to radio. I would not buy one of these because I don't know if it's unlocked or not. And there's this version of these waterproof ones, kind of interesting too. But you know, I got better things to do than spend $30 on the same old thing in a different case, reincarnated. And they're just not coming out with anything else that's really interesting, you know, so they're gonna have to step it up if they want to sell more radios, I guess. But they're happy to just kind of sell what they're selling. We have these wontons or whatever. These are like the new, like, you know, 888 radio, but they're USB, which is nice. I think all the radios should have a USB on them. I mean, who wants to have to go home and charge their radio on a cradle when you could just plug into the battery? You can plug into the radio. These are I think also similar. You got to watch out though. Some don't use USB-C. You know, some do different things. Now, what would be really nice is when they get to the point where, hey, we got this radio and you can charge it through the USB port and you can program it through the USB port. So I'd love to see that. That's what I want to see. Anyway, enough talk about Amazon radios.